Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Cape Rugby TV, where we always take a look at what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. Of course, big thanks to our partners on board with us here at Cape Rugby TV, Score Energy Drinks. As you know, Score Energy Drinks on board with Western Province Rugby and the Western Province Club Rugby Sevens tournament. And of course, folks, if you want to win yourself a case of Score Energy Drinks plus a set of 20 masks, courtesy of CTC Sports, then all you need to do is SMS the word SCORE to 33090. Direct access to your financial services partner, MCAM 24-hour pharmacy, and of course Thorburn Security Solutions. Folks, the full show for you this evening, where we're of course out of the High Performance Centre in Belleville over on Monday at least, where, as you know, the coaches have been busy with the Western Province Rugby 2.5 course. Also, the players were in training at the High Performance Centre. To tell us more about that, we've got Jerome Parvata on the line with us. We'll catch up with him in a second. From Paarl Rugby Football Club, we catch up with Eric Liebenberg. They've been doing some incredible stuff behind the scenes, and again this week, the Paarl Rugby players went out into the Paarl community to go and educate the public on sanitization during this COVID period, educating on sanitizing your hands and of course preventing COVID. And then we speak to Ebrahim Murat, who is of course the head coach of Primrose Rugby Football Club. As you know, Ebby's been around for a while, coached at a couple of clubs, and a lot of experience there in terms of education and coaching. That's going to be a fantastic interview. And then we'll catch up with Donnie de Villiers, internationally recognized coach. And we're really looking forward to find out what he thought of the Western Province Rugby 2.5 course. But joining me on the line now, Jerome Parvata. Jerome, Monday was a fantastic day.
Yeah, it was a great evening, JP. It was good to see all the coaches at the HPC, and also a lot of their club players. And some of the school coaches were there who could still identify themselves with some of their players who were there. So yeah, it was quite a good evening on Monday.
So let's just talk. Let's go back now. Let's talk a little bit through the COVID period. I mean, it's been 8 months now of things being quite difficult. Upside down is probably a very light way of saying that it's been a difficult year. But you guys started at Western Province fairly early in the year with the online coaching education.
Yeah, JP, we actually saw that gap when the COVID came, and we use it, I would say, to our advantage, because sometimes you don't always have the time and you don't always get all the people. But with technology, we could get 30 people. We could get 15 club coaches, 15 school coaches. So that was good, and it was over quite a long period of time.
Is this something that you'll do again next year?
Yeah, JP, I think this will be ongoing now, because what we were doing with this coaches now, the 2.5, because every year we must give SA Rugby names for guys that can advance to level 3. And in the past, we used the guys at the clubs or at the schools who were doing well. But with COVID coming, I just saw like there was a big sort of a gap that we can expose a lot of coaches, and we can actually give them homework to do and give them tasks to do, and they send us their homework before the next session, so we can sort of see from that sessions that we've done who is the guys that we can really push and can take forward.
Talking about the guys going forward, I mean, when we were standing there on the side of the field on Monday, you had quite a wide variety of coaches there. I mean, there must have been 20 or 30 coaches from different clubs and different schools as well.
Yeah, and it's actually the first time, I think, because normally we split the two. The club coaches will come to the HPC and we do a session with them. Then the school coaches will come and we do a session with them. So it was good for them. And a lot of the school coaches are also coaching at clubs, so they know each other. So yeah, it was actually good to see that how they can mix and how they can talk about the club in the school.
Now, what is the kind of thing that a coach needs to do in the off season? I mean, we know that it's of course COVID now. There would have not been any matches during this time of year anyway. But what is the kind of thing that a club will do in the? I mean, at least a coach will do in the off season.
JP, a coach can really now, he can look at his daily program, he can look at his weekly program, he can look at his monthly program, he can look at his sort of plan his year, he can look at his friendlies, he can look at his squad, he can look at new players. So in this time, there's a lot of work that you need to do. For us also going into next season, though we are on holiday, we will our coaches will still talk and we'll have share ideas because my coaches go away. If it's now the attack coach, he'll go away and say, look at new ideas. We've done this. Look at some new ideas. If it's now the conditioning coach, he will look at new ideas. So just to share all the information, come up with new ideas, and just interact with each other. And planning is the most important the aspect of the game. And it's actually the right time now. You think you will go on holiday, you must take a break, but be prepared come next year so players can see that you're prepared.
Jerome, also from a coach's perspective now, if we think about their engagement, you say you must think about your players, your new players, and that. What are the kind of things that a coach now will be telling their players during the off season? Because obviously now the players are going to also go away on a break. They're going to go on holiday. You don't know what's going to be going on behind the scenes. But what's the type of advice that a coach at this time of year will be giving their players?
Yeah, JP, it's obviously it's still tough. It's still tough now for players because you can only do a certain amount of work. But I would say the most important thing for a coach now is whether they need to work on their cardio, give them a sort of a program, what they can do. If they're not close to a gym, what they can do with their own body weight and sort of different drills and practices, what they can do. If it's a loose forward, he can give him some stuff on breakdown. If it's a number 9, his passing skills. A coach will know what his players need to work on. So he must identify that and give each position a specific role, what they need to work on. So when they come back, he can actually test them and the conditioning guy can screen them and test them and see if they really did the work that they sent.
Well, we of course did come down to the High Performance Center on Monday, and we managed to get some pictures from behind the scenes. Let's quickly take a look at that.
stay safe, embrace your families and friends, and if all goes well, see you next year. God bless.
Right, Jerome, so it looks like there were a couple of very interesting faces there, a couple of very happy individuals. Will we be seeing new additions to 2.5 next year, or is it a build on from this group itself, or do you add on? How does it work?
Look, JP, we obviously identify a few coaches from this year who we can forward that names to SA Rugby. Then SA Rugby will select whoever they will select. We'll give them the names, and they will select maybe 5 or 6 players per union. And sometimes we're lucky because most of the time they do the courses here in Cape Town. Then sometimes guys from Joburg or Durban can't come down, then they give us 2 or 3 extra guys. So we always have a lot of guys who can attend this level 3. So what you were asking me now, so yes, it will be ongoing because next year new guys would want to do level 3, so we have to do the 2.5 with them also.
Okay, Jerome, well, don't go away, because when we come back from the break, we're going to stay with you, and we're going to find out a little bit more about the high performance training, which of course you're busy doing with the with your players as you prepare for the SA Cup. So we'll be catching up with you in a sec. Don't go away. Folks, as I said to Jerome now, and Jerome's going to stay on the line with us. When we come back from the break, we're going to take a look at some of the preparation that the guys were doing at the Belleville at the High Performance Centre, at least in Belleville, on Monday night. Stick around, back in a sec. Welcome back, folks. Cape Rugby TV. As you know, before the break, before we went into the break, we had Jerome Parvater on the line with us, and on Monday night we went out to the High Performance Centre in Belleville, where some of the players are busy preparing. A lot of players there from club structures. Jerome, of course, we get Jerome back on the line now. Jerome, fantastic to see so many club rugby players on the side of the field.
Yeah, JP, that's only club rugby players, and we're proud to say that I think currently we're the only union that's busy with the club guys. And I mean that's why our club rugby is so successful, because the players know there's an opportunity for them to either play for Western Province or to get seen, or other provincial coaches are talking. So there's opportunities if guys want to go further in their rugby career. So
it must be a big thing for the guys as well. If we look at the players, they're running around in Stormers jerseys. Obviously, those are those practice jerseys that they're running in?
Yeah, it's practice jerseys, JP. But what we also do is we treat the guys as professional if they walk into the HPC, so they can see what the Stormers and the province guys are doing. So we treat them; they get the same treatment like the Currie Cup or Stormers guys.
One of the guys we caught up on the side of the field there was Zander Case. He's been around in Cape Rugby TV circles and club rugby for a long time. Let's hear what he has to say, and then you can tell us a little bit more about Zander.
It's an opportunity we can't miss, and like I told you a few minutes ago, back on grass, what a privilege, and hopefully we can do it again early next year. Yes, obviously, a few new faces. I'm new, so yeah, it's great to meet new people. That's what rugby is for. Oh yeah, obviously, if you're from Brackenfell, like Ush or something, we are a few years running with Brackenfell wins, minimal wins, whatever. So yeah, it's nice challenging each other on the field. Yes, we are taking a break. We're coming back on the 11th of January, so try to stay fit, eat less on Christmas. So yeah.
There we go, Jerome. Zander Case, of course, he's been around in club rugby for a long time. Brings a bit of leadership skills to the table.
Yeah, I mean, he's been quite a while now since he left Kraaifontein to Unimo. And look, I speak a lot to coaches, and Ismail Dolly was talking quite highly about him. So yeah, that's why he's still part of our structures, and yeah, he's a great leader. he's not the biggest of biggest guys, but he's got a very big heart. And yeah, he's one of that club players that's been around for quite a long time. Now, he's not that old, but he's been around and playing good rugby.
And then we are caught up with Ruan Loopscher, who was, of course, the 2019 Player of the Year, plays out of Durban. And he had a few words for us to say.
Ek is al uit die Boland Liga uit, oorspronklik hier genote hoërskool. Ek speel hier vir Durbanville, Durban. En ja, ek het 2019 nog gespeel daar. En ja, nou sit ek hier so einde 2019 het Jerome vir my gevra om 'n draai te kom maak hier by die eksplosie. Ja, gaan ons maar nie so. Ek dink dit gaan 'n lekker jaar wees. Die skedule is nogal redelik vol. So ek het julle gesien het die SA Cup en die kan ek sê die Gold Cup en die Pro 16, alles oorvleuel mekaar. So dit gaan 'n jaar wees vol rugby vir almal. Ja, ons ken mekaar al almal hierso. Ek vat 'n voorbeeld, ek en Ricardo daar kom albei van Durban af. Ek het al speel al jare lank saam. Ons het al World Club 10 gespeel in Mauritius saam. Ek het al baie saam gespeel. So ek kom 'n lang pad aan voor ons saam speel.
Jerome, Ruan Loopscher, also a player that brings a wealth of experience to the table for you.
Yeah, very strong ball carrier. He's a very good team man, and you won't believe it. He stays, or basically stays behind the Boland Rugby Stadium in Wellington, and I know the Boland coach is on his case for many years now, but he's a true province man, and he said he won't leave.
Jerome, one of the other players, of course, that's been with you for a while. In fact, I believe he's been with you since October last year, was Dean Kruger. Let's quickly take a look at what Dean had to say, and then you tell us a little bit about him.
Yeah, it's nice to have everyone from the area. I mean, we have guys from Belleville, we have guys from Strand, we have guys from everywhere. It's good to know what the other clubs are doing, and it's a good practice all the way around. It's an excellent opportunity to come to the HPC. I mean, every Monday and every Wednesday to practice and try to prepare for the cup next year. Fitness-wise, there's always a challenge. I mean, you're keeping yourself fit. It was lockdown, so the biggest challenge was the fitness, and just try to keep your weight and to keep your speed. I mean, try to be agile for the game.
Dean Kruger there, Jerome, another player. Like as I said, I think he's been with you since possibly October last year already.
Yeah, correct, JP. And yeah, he was one of the guys that we've tested in October, and he's still with us. He played prop for Helderberg, so he played tight head and he's loose head. He's a very good ball carrier, very good skills, very strong scrummager. So and he's a big boy. He's quite a big boy, but he can run.
And then our final player from St. George's, Dimitri Hendricks, also did a bit of travelling there. We know that on the night had to travel all the way back to the Gastro area, or at least back to the Strand Gordons Bay area. Dimitri, let's hear what he has to say.
Daar was een beetje een van hij, daar was baie lekker, maar ze altijd wel iets lekker is, maar was daar baie lekker. Ik is nou van voor lockdown naar Wieso. Amper 3 maanden nou al samen met boys en dat is baie voor mij baie nice om samen te wezen. Ja, hier is een paar mannen van hulle en ik is nou blij om samen te wezen van hulle, baie goede spelers, so ik leer een beetje nou weer van hulle. Ja, kijk, die fitness hier bij de ISPC is een beetje baie tough. Dat is niet zo'n gewone fitness wat je bij je club doet nie. As like real is op 3 ander levels is. Jy moet permie gefocus bly, jy moet ontbyte bly en dissipline moet dissipline aanhaf om die fitness deur te dra vir die dag, anders 'n bietjie baie strain.
Jerome, Dimitri Hendricks, Lulu boy, also coming through the ranks.
Yeah, I mean Dimitri, JP, for many years now, we've been talking about Dimitri on Cape TV, and one of the guys that we've identified quite a while back from watching their games on Cape TV going out to St. George's, watching him play. And Dimitri is the type of guy, I mean, he works, come from work, every single session, take his overall off, put his rugby jersey on, do the business. And that for me, it shows me the character of the player that he is and the type of person that he is. He doesn't miss a session, he doesn't moan, take his safety boots off, put his rugby boots on, and do the business.
One of the things that I picked up there was in fact, just how fantastic the spirit is amongst the club rugby players. They all seem to love being at the side of the field. They all know each other. They come from the same leagues, the same teams. They've been playing against each other. You've got a really great spirit amongst your players there.
JP, it's so true what you say. If you look at professional rugby, and if you look at the guys coming in,
yeah.
it seems like, you know, it's a job. You have a job to do, but you come there and, you know, it's just rugby. But these guys come from their work. They come there, they enjoy themselves, they
just
joke
love
among
rugby.
They get a good tears going. They love. There's banter between clubs and whatever personalities they are, and that's amateur rugby, and that's for me, that's still what rugby is about. It doesn't matter if you're professional, if you're not professional.
Jerome, thanks very much. Let's leave it at that. We obviously hope to catch up with you next week again when we carry on talking about wrapping it up for the year, where we have more people on the show, and it'll be a bit of a chat session. We look forward to chatting with you, and of course, in the meantime, we'll say to you, stay safe, follow all the health and safety protocols, and we'll catch up soon.
Yeah, JP, definitely. It's again now. It's tough times again in the country, it seems, and we've been very serious about the COVID. It lacked a bit towards the end of this year, so I think people must pick up their seriousness again and just be safe and don't go crazy and just do what you have to do.
Thanks, Jerome. There we go, folks. Jerome Farvater, of course, high performance for clubs at Western Province Rugby, and fantastic to see the players at the High Performance Centre there getting together, and what a great gees. As you heard Jerome say there, the gees amongst the players is fantastic. They get to see each other. They're from all the different clubs. They're wearing the Stormers outfit. They're looking forward to 2021. And heavens knows, at the moment, we need all the happiness that we can get. Folks, don't forget, of course, you can win yourself a case of Score energy drinks. A case of Score energy drinks up for grabs. All you need to do is SMS the word SCORE to 33090. And you can put yourself in the mix to win a case of Score energy drinks. A case, of course, consists of 24 cans of Score energy drinks. And as an added bonus, as a double up, we will give you a set of 24 Cape Rugby TV masks as well. So you win a case of Score 24 and you win a set of 24 masks from Cape Rugby TV. And all you need to do to enter that competition is SMS the word SCORE to 33090. Folks, we'll take an ad break. When we come back from a break, we'll carry on talking about what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. Back in a sec. Welcome back, folks. Cape Rugby TV. We carry on talking about club rugby. A few weeks ago, you will, of course, remember that we caught up with the guys in Paarl. Now, Paarl, of course, prominent in Super League A. They've entered into the Super League A structures about 2 years ago. And, of course, coach at Paarl, and also not able to get out of the starting blocks with 2021 because of the year of COVID. Very unfortunate. But nevertheless, been doing incredible work behind the scenes at the Paarl Rugby Club. And joining me back on the line now, Eric Liebenberg. Eric, great to see you on the line there, meneer. How are you?
Fine, JP, yourself?
Yes, we're okay. As I said to you when I saw you on Monday night at the certificate handover for the coaches, we take it all one day at a time. But it was so fantastic to see you guys on Monday night, because I think we're getting a little bit of withdrawal symptoms that we can't see each other and speak to each other.
That is correct. It was quite nice seeing the boys last night and some of the old coaches because obviously we spoke on Zoom quite a fair bit with doing the online course. Yeah, it was nice to catch up with some of the guys.
Behind the
It's been a bit of
scenes,
a pain, but we're tackling it day by day.
there's definitely something to be said for that sort of interaction, Eric. I mean, we just of course had Ibrahim Murat on the show now from Primrose, and they've been doing a tremendous amount of work behind the scenes as well, engaging with their players and thinking about 2021. And he said pretty much what you've said now, is that there is a component that you can do via the digital medium, but the physical interaction, the ability to see each other and engage one-on-one and see people's eyes and smiles, really is, it brings the sort of, that's what it's all about.
That is correct. I mean, we do try to do a few things at the club, obviously with social distancing and keeping the numbers to a minimum, getting like 10 guys at a time at the club, putting on a little braai, having some chat, just about the general things, how things are going in family life, how things are going in rugby, what's our goals for next season. So we do try to keep everybody together, keep them positive, obviously. I've got some guys today actually in Paarl as well, handing out sanitizer just to make the people of Paarl aware, that it's quite a serious situation we're in. So we do try to do our bit at Paarl Rugby Club.
Let's just talk a little bit about that for a second, Eric. When we spoke a few weeks ago, in fact, a few months ago, in the heart of lockdown, you had engaged with some of your players and sponsors to help in some of the communities that really needed help. It's now a few months later. Have you seen any sort of maybe some sort of change or understanding of the players and their thinking towards contributing to communities or the spread of COVID?
The nice thing is I've actually got some players like today, like I mentioned today. I've got few players today in Paarl High Street, just making people aware of sanitizing. So they actually just sanitize people's hands, walking through the town, make sure they keep their hands clean, just to keep them aware of what's going on. And that came from the players. So we've been doing through lockdown, we've been giving out food hampers, we've got Christmas hampers coming up to Christmas. And the players actually take a lot of initiative themselves now in what they can do to contribute. But they also seem to be doing it for Paarl Rugby Club. What's nice is, they go out there saying, yeah, we are Paarl Rugby Club, here we are, we're in the community, we're involved in this, we're with you guys, and we can help where we can.
Absolutely, we all absolutely have to do our bit to reduce the spread and the infections. Otherwise, quite frankly, we're simply just not going to get back on the park, to put it bluntly. But let's focus a little bit about. Let's focus a little bit on Monday. On Monday, you guys had the Rugby 2.5 coaches certificate handover course, but just before the course, we saw some of the players from the clubs actually busy training with Jerome Parvater on the field at the High Performance Centre. That, for me, was fantastic to see how many club players have come through the ranks and are actually participating in this high performance environment. And watching you guys as coaches sort of look at these players, that must have been interesting.
Oh man, of course, especially like I mentioned, one of my players there last night. It's fantastic to see them play at that level. Of course, obviously they're good enough to play at that level, but for them also interact with other club players, and just making it's a rugby world. At the end of the day, we play each other, we're enemies on the field, but off the field we're all friends. So it's nice to see them interact as teammates in a team outside of their own team when they play at the club.
I think that there's a number of players who are going to be saying, would you like to get an autograph as the Stormers players? And the photographs are all going to be coming out. So that's absolutely great. You've, of course, got Shavandre van Schoor, who plays in the, shall we say, the inside back line at Paarl, training with the squad.
That's right.
Coming through the ranks, are we going to see him in the Springbok outfit one of these days?
Yeah, I'm sure we will, but I hope he's very much needed in the Paarl jersey at the moment. So obviously, I think for me secretly, I would love him to play up there, but club first for me at the moment, which is a bit rude to say. But no, he's a very main point in our games, in our strategy, and the way we play. He's a fantastic player. He's a fantastic person on and off the field. He takes a lot of leadership, especially with the younger players, getting them involved under 20s. It's just great. He's one of our. He's also in the conditioning, so he does all the CrossFit on Mondays with the youngsters. his knowledge and experience is just fantastic to have. It's really, really great to have, yeah.
That's great. Those are the kind of players that we're looking for. Shavandre van Schoor there,
Exactly.
of course, former player at Belleville, where I think Shavandre has pointed out to us before that he was a man of the match and on Cape Rugby TV on a few years back. Eric, let's just talk quickly about the 2.5 course itself. That's it now. You've completed, the guys have completed that. I mean, you guys are well experienced coaches. You've done all your different coaching levels. But this course, slightly different. A little bit more engagement, a little bit more conversation, a little bit more, I nearly went on to say action guaranteed, but a little bit more, slightly different.
Yeah, I think our previous coaches levels, obviously level 1, 2, I'm doing my level 3 now. It's pretty much standard, and it's sort of a couple of days, etc. With the 2.5, there was a lot more work to this. There's a lot more actually admin to be done. So it's been done over 6 weeks. So you actually had to put a lot more effort in getting you ready for level 3 if you want to go further. But it was very good. It was a fantastic course. It's so fantastic to actually have it with current coaches. With Nazim and Jerome Parwater, so it's nice to have them delivering the course as professional coaches as well. So that's very nice. It's very positive to have that, to be a part of it. It was great.
And of course, when you have engagements like that, I mean, there was, I think, 20 or 30 coaches there that got certified from the schools as well. You get to have conversations and questions that maybe we don't think of every day.
That's correct. We actually, obviously, there's 2 parts. It was the schools coaches and then the senior coaches. So we actually got our own WhatsApp group, and it's fantastic. I actually made friends, with some of the guys, the Durban coach, the NTK coach, and we actually talk to each other. We sort of not advise, but we help each other. We're going to struggle with a drill we want to sort of take further, or any sort of tips that we got. We help each other, which is great, which is fantastic. We obviously won't share any strategy plans, but when it comes to normal sort of skill drills, etc., we're quite keen.
No, that's fantastic, Eric. Then I think we'll leave it at that. All I can say is from my side that the real pleasure in that was my opportunity to engage with you guys, and also to let you guys know as coaches that you have a TV platform available that you can talk about your players or your club or your team or anything of that sort. And so now we have a whole new dimension for coaches as well, that actually know that they have got a fair amount of exposure for their coaching and their clubs available. So that was great. So we can say thank you to you guys for contributing in that space.
No, it's a pleasure, JP. Thank you much for you guys. Thanks for the great job you're doing. Obviously, to being promoting on the television is fantastic. I think it's some good things to come. Obviously from Paarl Rugby Club as well, but yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity again.
Fantastic, Eric. We'll then we'll hopefully catch up with you again in the new year. I'm assuming that you guys will take a little bit of a break, and we'll say thanks for all of your support over the last few months, and we remind you guys to stay safe out there, and also to the players, and again, thanks to the players for all of the support that they're giving in the community around the Paarl region.
Thanks, JP. Appreciate that. Thank you very much.
There we go, folks. Eric Limburg, head coach at Paarl, and it just goes to show what can be done and what the guys are doing. Absolutely fantastic. And something as simple as he said, as the players in the Paarl region bringing awareness to the prevention of COVID by simply doing hand sanitization in the streets. Really is incredible what our club leadership can do. Folks, we'll take a break. When we come back from the break, we'll carry on talking about what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. Back in a sec. Welcome back, everybody. It's Cape Rugby TV. We, of course, carry on talking about what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. And we're kind of gearing now towards the end of the season. Well, although we didn't really have a season because we know that there were no fixtures, but there was still a lot of planning and working behind the scenes. Of course, some of the clubs even had 1 or 2 pre-seasons, but definitely behind the scenes, a lot of administrative work and lots of planning for 2021. You remember, a few weeks ago, we managed to have Ebrahim Murat, head coach of Primrose Rugby Football Club, on the show with us. Ebby, it's fantastic to have you back. How are things there with you?
How's it, JP? Good. It's good to be back. It has been a while since we last chatted.
Yeah, so the last we chatted, we were talking a lot about coaching, and I mean, you've got a tremendous amount of experience in the coaching space, and we definitely want to ask you a little bit about the coaching course that a lot of the coaches at Western Province were on. But before we go there, when we last spoke, you were telling us about how Primrose, you guys were so organized, so geared up, so ready, and then of course the wheels came off with COVID, and everything sort of came down to a halting grind. Let's just recap on that. You guys were really ready for 2021. I mean 2020.
Yeah, JP, it's been a very successful year. We haven't lost a game.
Yeah, you've got 100% track record. I mean, you're unbeaten this season.
Yeah, JP, it's been, none of us have experienced something like this. In 2017, we had some sort of an element of this with the drought. But I think, things has literally stopped for some time. But again, over the last few weeks, we've picked up quite a bit in terms of our planning. There's quite a few things that we will announce over the next while. But it has been very difficult, after all the effort we put in making sure that we were ready for the season, and not to be able to sort of see that come to fruition has been really disappointing. But I think everyone has accepted it. There are bigger things at play. I think the players' well-being and of course the well-being of our members have been the most important aspect, and is also why we've sort of delayed our start again to make sure that we are ready, and then when we get back onto the field, that we've got all our protocols in place and we can actually hit the ground running.
But Ebby, I was thinking about it, in fact, after we did our show, the amount of experience that you and yourself in your own capacity that you have, from playing experience to coaching experience, the different strategies and game plays. In addition to that, you're also very involved in education. I mean, this must have been very hard for you with all of your plans. We know it's hard for players who can't put on their boots and socialize with their players, and we know it's hard for fans who can't come down to the game on a Saturday and watch their favorite game. But of course, equally tough, if not even more so, on management who feel the responsibility.
Yeah, JP, you're 100% right. On a personal level, it has obviously been very difficult. Not just in terms of what I do, in terms of my passion, but as you know, it's also the way I make a living, which is in sport. And we've been completely curtailed as a business in my own personal capacity. And on that, and I think there's a lot of lessons we can learn from that in terms of making sure that you diversify in what you do first and foremost. And then secondly, in terms of becoming a little bit more creative in terms of how you deliver, whether it is a product that you're selling or a service for that matter. And I think that for me has been the lesson that I have learned the hard way really in COVID. But again, there's always a silver lining. And I think for me, that has been the standout feature of COVID, is that on a personal level, as you mentioned, I'm very involved in a lot of sports engagements. And also on a sort of a club level, we, going forward, we would very much need to look at doing things in a more diversified manner. For instance, executives meet every week at the clubhouse. You can now do online meetings, and you can actually be a lot more productive in that way. And also, we're doing surveys with players through Google Sheets. We're launching soon. We are obviously, in terms of, in the early lockdown, we were doing sort of lessons, if you want to call it that, with the players on YouTube playlists, so we would literally record myself talking about game plan, strategies, and some of the technical things that we've been working on, actually engage with the players on that level. So I think those are elements that we can definitely carry through in a post-COVID environment. But again, as you've mentioned, it has been an extremely difficult year. But again, we take the positives from that.
Maybe let's quickly move to the coaching course. Western Province Rugby had their certificate handover at the High Performance Centre at Belleville on Monday night. There were a number of coaches having now completed this 2.5 course. I know that you were involved in that. And of course, some of the school coaches and some of the club coaches were there. That must be something now, looking at that adds a new dimension, something more practical, something in addition, or like you even said, as a value add on top of the normal rugby world levels 1, 2, and 3 courses.
Yeah, so like I said, Jerome and Nazim has done a fantastic job to connect the coaches. I think that has been sorely missing over a number of years. Coaches, we tend to see each other on a Saturday afternoon for an hour or two on the field, and most of the times we are opposition coaches, so we don't really engage in too much detail. So to have a forum where coaches can share ideas, specifically in a year like lockdown. So there's been a lot of learning that has taken place. Obviously, there was different groups. I was involved in the initial group.
You say that you think this is fantastic from a bridge perspective, being the bridge between level 2 and 3.
100% JP. So, what you ordinarily find is and having done level 2 and now also doing my level 3, there's quite a big difference between the two. I often sort of compare it to doing an undergraduate degree at university level and doing a postgrad, where the undergrad level is very much in terms of deciphering sort of the content and understanding the level 3 is more than your application of your knowledge. So essentially, at level 2, it's can you coach scrum, can you coach line out, etc., and understanding the fundamentals of that. Whereas in level 3 and obviously level 2.5, which touches on that, which is more the comprehension and how do you actually apply yourself, as a leader of a group of people, and then secondly, obviously as a rugby coach, which I found fascinating and really stimulating to be a part of.
Ebby, just on a last note, what's next for you guys now? Is it a question of take a break and hope for COVID to calm down and maybe get some return to training in place?
Yeah, JP, we've been very busy over the last since level 1 essentially started in terms of planning. So from behind the scenes, we've been very active. The players continue to have a break, so it's not a case of taking a break, unfortunately. We've set our planning to start mid-January, as I've mentioned earlier, looking at a program that takes some of the strain away from protocol perspective. We obviously, as a South African, we're all waiting to see how things pan out with the second wave. But like we always say, you've got to plan for the best case scenario. So instead of being reactive and then wanting to put things in place, our planning is as such as if it is a normal year. And in a normal year, in fact, we would have already started training like we did last year. But given the fact that due to Ramadan, it gives us an extra 4 weeks by now, which we will potentially have in April, our training essentially will start mid-January. So we're all ready to go. The only people that can stop us is the President's address in early January, of course. But we're ready to go, and our planning and our management team and all our systems, we're getting everything ready to hit the ground mid-January.
Ebrahim, well, we hope to, of course, speak to you before that. If not before that, certainly then. And we're hoping for positive news across the country, in fact, across the world, as things go. And I think on our side, we're going to say to you, have a safe and blessed festive season, and the very best to you, the management, the players, and the fans of Primrose. And we hope that everybody stays safe out there.
Thanks a lot, JP, and same to you and your team. And hopefully we'll be able to chat more detail come January or the start of the pre-season at least.
Looking forward to it. There we go. Thanks, Ibi. There we go, folks. Ebrahim Marat, of course, head coach of Primrose Rugby Football Club. The guys, as we heard, they're making a lot of effort behind the scenes, and looking forward to what the plans are for 2021. Of course, very disappointing that players and athletes haven't been able to get out of the starting blocks, but certainly a lot of excitement heading forward to next year. Folks, now, as you know, MChem 24-hour pharmacy, which is, of course, down in the corner of the N1 and Durban Road. It's very easy to see. It's very easy to find. In fact, when you drive down the N1, you'll see the shop with a massive sign on the right-hand side. In fact, there you can see the picture of the pharmacy behind me right now. And that's, of course, MChem 24-hour pharmacy. Now, on a weekly basis, we do a review of the public comments that have come in about MChem 24-hour pharmacy. Now, today's review is, of course, very appropriate. And in fact, it comes in from somebody who has posted a review with the name "Wear a Mask, Save Lives." And this message is very appropriate and goes on to say, very clean, very helpful and knowledgeable staff. Friendly faces no matter the time of day, even at 3 a.m. And as you can see how appropriate that is, because MChem 24-hour pharmacy is a 24-hour pharmacy. Every staff member at the pharmacy is, of course, geared to help you with your pharmaceutical requirements from the minute that you park to the minute that you leave. And the MChem staff, of course, so helpful with whatever you need, whenever you need it. And that's, of course, the MChem promise. As we've said before, the MChem gold standard that they strive for. MChem 24-hour pharmacy is always open. They're always there to help you 24 hours a day, every day. That's, of course, MChem 24-hour pharmacy. Folks, we'll take an ad break, and when we come back from a break, we're going to carry on talking about what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. As you know, we're sort of heading towards the end of the year now, and we are looking back a little bit at what happened in 2020, but also a little bit about where we're going in 2021. Back in a sec. Welcome back, folks. Cape Rugby TV, as you know, and as you are watching. Of course, we come to you every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Cape Town TV, DSTV, channel 263. But in case you missed tonight's show, don't forget you can catch the repeat on Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. Now, a few weeks ago, we managed to catch up with Donnie de Villiers, Western Province Club Rugby coach. He's been around the coaching circles for a long time. He's been internationally coaching as well. He's back in South Africa, and we, of course, had to catch up with Donnie one more time. Donnie, great to have you back on the line. How are things there with you?
Hi, JP. Thank you very much for having me. No, all good. I'm still enjoying life here in Langebaan. It's summer now, so a bit windy, but still enjoying life here on the West Coast.
So, Donnie, we bumped into you on Monday evening at the High Performance Center in Western Province, and there you guys all were, all of the coaches together, smiling, talking rugby, looking at the players during practice. That was a fantastic sight to behold.
Man, I'm telling you, it was. It's been months, but it's absolutely been incredible. You know, just to walk out onto the field and saw an actual rugby training session going on, and it was nice to see Jerome and Nazim putting the boys through the paces, and you know, a lot of our club guys involved with the squad there, and looking fit and fresh and eager to get some game time, and we're looking forward to that start.
Donnie, so you guys are standing on the side of the field. All of you now have been for about 4 months working on this Western Province Rugby hybrid coaching course, which is this link between level 2 and level 3. You've got all the coaching courses. How did you feel about this coaching course?
Yes, JP, it was. I mean, first of all, you know, you never stop educating yourself as a coach. You know, so I mean, you're always looking for opportunity to feed off other people's experience and knowledge, and especially this year where we didn't have the opportunity to really express ourselves out on the field, and all of a sudden, Jerome and Nazim came up with the level 2.5 coaching course. Of course, it was very unique because everything was done via MSM Teams, you know, so it was a new experience. But man, I cannot tell you how much I enjoyed that, you know, being away for very long, you know, connecting again with local club coaches and just seeing the enthusiasm and the content that Jerome and Nazim put forward, you know, the type of homework we had to do and the assignments we got. It was really, really tough. It was really very, very interesting, you know, and it was a lot of work, but it was absolutely worth it. You know, when we had our Monday night meetings and the feedback that a lot of the guys got, I mean, I learned so much, you know, so very, very appreciative about that.
Do you so if we just look at some of your experience, I mean, you've been coaching overseas for a long time. You have a lot of international experience. What all the coaches have mentioned here is that there's this bridge between level 2 and level 3, but you mentioned it yourself now. The ability to engage with other coaches adds value. In fact, it adds a bit of gears as well. But are the questions different? Is the conversation, the rugby conversation or the coaching conversation different in club rugby here in Cape Town versus club rugby, say, for example, in Romania or the United States?
You know what? The interesting thing is JP, is that one of the things that was always a bit of an irritation and letdown for me was that overseas you don't always get the opportunity to have these type of things. It's like you said, a lot of people can go out and do level 1 and 2 because it's very easy to do those qualifications. And then it becomes a very selective process where only really a few get invited to do your level 3. So not everyone gets the opportunity. So a lot of times years go by between you having done your level 2 and getting the opportunity to do level 3. So what happens in between? Absolutely nothing. So this opportunity for like-minded coaches to get together and just talk rugby, and that was the nice thing, because you almost get to a point where you think, listen, but I've got this figured out, and I know what to do, and I know how to understand and interpret things. And all of a sudden you hear 2, 3, 4 very different interpretations of what you thought was the correct way. And that just opens the mind, and it makes you think differently. And that's the thing that I really, really enjoyed. So and like you said, it's good for the spirit of Western Province Club Rugby, the camaraderie between the coaches. It was nice last night actually on Monday night to actually meet the guys in person, So no, it was an incredible experience for me.
So speaking to Ibrahim Murad, he spoke about the level 2 course being quite academic and the level 3 course being very practical. And now we're sort of with a 2.5 in the middle here.
Yes.
If we take this type of information from a level 2, 2.5 and into 3, how important is the practical aspect? I mean, we talk about textbook rugby, but then people like yourself and our coaches who have got real first-hand coaching experience.
Yeah.
How do you make that connection? I mean, that's obviously very important, to get the first-hand, hands-on practical.
Yeah, you see that. I mean, when you look at level 3, for example, like you said, yes, there's a lot of book knowledge that goes into level 2. Level 3 is literally more about the on-field scenarios, but a big emphasis goes into the planning of those on-field scenarios and training sessions and game analysis. So the nice thing that Jerome and Nazim did with the level 2.5 is a very calculated bridge between those two levels. So there's still the book knowledge sort of that comes from level 2, but you really have to also already put in place, how you're going to plan. They made it small. They had a 6-week training period where you have to plan training sessions, build up to your first game, the analysis that goes into it, the team selection that goes into it, the job descriptions of staff, who's responsible for what, all those kind of things. So it really gave the coaches a very good idea of what they could expect from level 3 once they get the opportunity to do it. The only difference is when you do the level 3, it's about 10 times the work, So it's a lot of work.
Well, I take my hat off to you guys as rugby coaches. It's mind-blowing to see how much work you guys do. It really is, and I'm so impressed with that whole team structure, and it's been great to meet you guys. And so, Donnie, we're going to say to you, thanks for joining us on the show. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. We of course hope to catch up with you in the next few days, even if not in the early new year, because we obviously want to wrap up a little bit. And in the meantime, until then, we'll say to you, stay safe out there and follow all the protocols.
Thank you, JP, and also thank you to you guys at Cape Rugby TV, what you do. It's amazing putting the Western Province rugby scene out there for everyone to see. Without you guys, maybe people will not know so much about us, but we're really appreciative of the exposure that you guys give us, and a blessed festive season to all of you and all the viewers out there.
Fantastic. There we go, folks. Donnie de Villiers been very instrumental in club rugby, a lot of experience, and of course brings a lot of international experience back to us here. We're lucky to have him. Lucky to be speaking to coaches in Western Province at that caliber. Folks, that's a wrap from us here this evening. This is again a reminder from me that while you are out there, please pay attention to all the health and safety protocols. Make sure that you wash your hands. Make sure you practice social distancing. And please, always wear a mask. We're all in this thing together, and we all need to do our very best to make sure that we stop the spread of COVID-19. We'll see you again next week, same time, same place. Have a fantastic rugby weekend. Bye-bye.